What's up, y'all? Back with another one. Thanks for all the love on the last video that I shot, just like the budget thing. I wanted to continue that conversation because I had more comments with like some more in-depth conversation, I guess, that needed to be had on just the how. And it's an important conversation because there are a lot of times where you will find yourself in this onward battle between what's your budget, what's your rate, what's your budget, and it's a continuation, and nobody wants to deal with that. So if I can provide some like real life technique or things that I say that have helped, then that's what this video is going to be about. So I kind of wanted to read a little bit about what I've said to someone, and it ended up turning into a project or a deal for me. Now, mind you, everybody is different, and the things that I say whenever I come across a client who is just not telling me their budget, one thing I don't do is get upset. I don't get bothered by that because in any other time when somebody's spending their money, if they go to the grocery store, if they're getting gas, if they buy food or just anything, any type of product or service, there's normally a price somewhere where they can see it. So in their head, that's how it should always be. So when they come to you and they don't see a menu style list of services with the corresponding prices next to them, they're going to get hesitant because they're going to think, if I say $1,000, then they're going to say, oh, well, my rate is $1,000, and they're going to take all of my budget instead of you educating them on why you're asking for their budget. And then ultimately, you can probably save them a little bit of money. You can make more than you would have normally made and still save them some money. For instance, if you normally charge 650 for an event for 1 hour and their budget was $1,000, you can say, okay, let me do a little bit more than I would normally do so I can bump that 650 up to 800 and still save them $200 in what they were going to ultimately spend. And you win and they win. There is no, oh, if I only charge this, then they win, but I don't. Or if they give me this amount, we win, but they don't. Everybody is getting something on this budget rate conversation. So just to kind of dive into it, this was a event. Mind you, sorry, I had to disclose this. Whenever I'm asking for a budget, it's normally for an event. I don't normally ask for budgets when I'm doing listings because I know the amount of work that it requires. I have like a set template of how I edit, the turnaround time, and travel. So those things I normally have a rate for. If it's something a little bit more uh, detailed, or if there's some specific editing that needs to be done, or the time frame is bigger or longer than what I would have normally shot, then I will ask for a budget because most times when I go to a listing, I'm there for like an hour, hour and a half. If they're trying to do an all day production where they want to have a content day, maybe a photo shoot, and add like a longer style of a listing video, maybe have like a staged family in the house to make it shown like what it's like to live here, I'm asking for a budget because now you have a whole bunch of things in mind and I want to make sure that I get it right. So it might require high production lights. It might require like a team, uh, like multiple videographers or stand-ins or whatever the case. I might have to outsource models and all that stuff to come into the home. And if I'm doing all that work, then I have to ask for the budget. Like, what are you working with? So I know who to call and all that other stuff. But for just a listing, I'll have a rate. For an event, events are different because every event is different. Every event is not built equal, so I won't charge equally. Some events only need me there for 2 hours and it's just a highlight video. They don't want no audio. Some require me to highlight not just the event from like 4 to 6 hours, maybe 8 hours throughout the day, but they want me to mic up every speaker or collect audio from every speaker on stage. So obviously, I require a budget so I know how this production is going to actually look based on what you can spend. So that's how I do it, just in summary. But let's get into it. So this guy had an event in the city of Orange in California, and he reached out to me. He said, hey, I'm looking for a videographer for an event. What do you charge? Ultimately, when somebody reaches out to me that quick on just what are you charge, I know that they're number minded. So I love to have them give me their budget because if they're number minded, they're only shopping around for the lowest. They're not thinking about value, they're not thinking about expertise, they're not thinking about somebody who specializes in this style. They're just looking for numbers. So I'd prefer if they just give me their numbers. If you're coming to the table only looking for a specific number, then just give it. But you kind of have to pull that out of people sometimes in a conversation. So yeah, so they reached out. Hey, I'm looking for a videographer this event. What do you charge? So I said, hey, thank you for reaching out. I love to learn more about what you need. Every project is a little different, so it helps me to know your budget range first. That way I can suggest the best option for you without overquoting you. So I'm basically letting them know like, hey, I do a whole lot of business. So I need to make sure that I don't give you a rate for an 8-hour event if you only need me for 3 hours. So just give me the budget you're working with for the details you already know about that I don't know about, so I can give you the right estimate. And his response, I get that, but I'd rather just know your rates first. This is the pushback, right? This is when people start to look at you like, come on, man, just give me the numbers. But on my side, I still don't know the details of the event. So I can't just throw numbers out there. I need details first. So you can either ask for the details or you can continue to push like, but I need your budget. He needs education. So what I'm going to continue to do is pull out the details and let him know why I'm requesting a budget. So that way he's not confused or think that I'm just trying to get over on him or trying to squeeze every dollar out of him. So my response was, I totally understand. I offer a range of packages depending on what's needed, the details. Some clients need simple highlight reels. Others want a full production, multiple angles, edits, videographers, cameramen. That's why I usually ask about budget, so I don't send you something too big or too small for what you're looking for. And this is basically making sure that I'm saying, I want to tailor your budget to you specifically. I don't want to give you a rate that's for somebody else's project. Meaning, if I just throw numbers at you and say, this number is for 5 hours of work, 3 videographers, and a partridge in a pear tree, they're going to come back to me like, what if I don't need all that stuff? And then we're getting into a longer conversation. So, making sure that I let him know, hey, look, I'm like a tailored suit maker. I don't want to just give you a coat and tie off the rack. I want to tailor this suit to you. So I need to know your measurements. That's the details of the job. So his response was, I still kind of just want to know numbers, which I already knew. I still kind of just want a number so I know what I'm dealing with. My response, got it. Just to give you a ballpark, most of my clients spend anywhere from 500 to 2500 depending on the scope of work. But again, I want to make sure I'm giving you the right quote, not just any quote. If you're comfortable sharing what range you're aiming for, I can customize something that maximizes value for you. So I think those two words is what sealed the deal. Customize, maximize. Because anytime somebody's spending money, they want to get the most they can for their dollar. Like things are getting crazy out here in the US, especially California. So money's tight and people are budgeting really, really tight. So the money that they spend, they want to get the most for it. So I'm bringing up customization because I want you to know that your project will be original to you. I'm not giving you a price for a wedding I did, for a quinceañera that I did, for a sports camp. I'm not giving you any of those price ranges. I'm giving you a price range that's specifically tailored to you. And not only that, but you will get a maximum value for it. Meaning, if you have a budget for $1,000, you only needed me for 2 hours. $1,000 budget, I can do 3.5 hours for that. So I'll extend the time so I can capture more. And when you say things like that, they feel like, okay, I'm getting an extra hour and a half of work that I didn't need. So that's perfect. Or you might say, I know this is only, you're only looking for one videographer, but with this budget, I can actually bring on 2 more people. So that's perfect. And that's maximizing the value. That's letting them know, hey, I know you only need this, but with this budget, I can give you more without charging you more. So you're being honest, you're being upfront, and you're customizing and maximizing. Now, his response was, okay, fair enough. I'm working with about $1,200 for this event. So my response, perfect. That helps a lot. With that budget, I can offer you up 4 hours of filming, 3 to 4 minute highlight video, 1 round of revisions, and a 5-day turnaround. If you want to upgrade, we can scale from there. And he was like, nope, the price range is perfect. What you're offering is perfect. Let's do it. So I got the job. So this is a little bit of back and forth of what can happen and what you can say. I don't I don't really believe in a script per se when you're dealing with people because I like honesty and transparency. But one, it's nice to know who you're dealing with. It's nice to know what you're dealing with. And it's nice to know that you can do the job and you can maximize and customize. So if you find yourself in this position of what's your budget, what's your rate, what's your budget, what's your rate, it can get frustrating. But knowing how to kind of generally speak on the subject, calm yourself down, but like know in your head that these people are just trying to know that you care, that you're not just gonna like take their money and run, because there are some videographers who are sketchy. I've heard about people who booked a videographer for a wedding. They paid everything up front. The videographer just disappeared, meaning they spent, I think it was like $4,000 on this videographer, and he took the money and ran. Like there was no contract signed, there was nothing. He basically took that 4 grand and just disappeared. And I think that's super shady, right? So there are stories out here where people, videographers, especially, where they don't do their clients right. Like they do them dirty, they don't deliver, and all this other stuff. So you got to take that into consideration when somebody's trying to hire you, that they may have had a bad experience. They may have had a terrible experience, or they might have heard of someone who had a bad experience when they gave the budget. So educating them, have some patience, and just know that regardless of who gives the budget, who gives the rate first, the ultimate goal is to finding that balance where we both win, we can collaborate together, partner together, and just have a great event. You get what you need, I get what I need, and the world keeps spinning. So hopefully this gave some good insight on the conversation that you can have, and ultimately give you guys some direction. The next time this comes at you, you kind of know what to say. Save this video obviously for later, because you might need to, revisit this and kind of structure it in your head a little bit. Please continue to comment below the things you want to see. I think the next conversation that I'm going to cover will be contracts. And that's interesting to me because I just had a situation where a contract saved my whole life. Like, I'll get into it later, but the situation could have been really bad if I didn't have people signing contracts. I'm telling you, like, it'll save you so much headache. So I think that'll be the next one. Make sure you tune in for that. But like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You guys are amazing. Thank you for all the love you guys have been giving to me. It's very encouraging. And I'll see you in the next one.